All right, what's up everyone? My name is Seth with F1 Ocean. I hope I'm doing this correctly. I'm sorry, I'm a few minutes late. This is my first ever official live stream. Welcome to the first ever F1 coffee chat. And if you're here, thank you. Since this is my first one, there probably aren't many people here yet, but hey, you gotta press go live at some point, right? I've wanted to do this for so long, and I'm super excited. So bear with me as this is my first live stream, so I'm sure some things are gonna go sideways, and will surprise me along the way. But so bear with me. I'm really excited. And if you are here, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the chat, and I'll try to get to all of them. And this is fun. This is awesome. So I'm looking to start doing these more frequently throughout the season. One that I know I'd like to do coming up is a live stream talking about the Grand Prix in Austin, since I got to go to the race in Austin last year. That was my first ever Grand Prix in person. So first off, this is an F1 coffee chat. So if you guys have your coffee or tea or whatever you prefer, go ahead and let me know. What are you drinking this morning? I've got my I'll try to do a different mug each live stream. This is the James Coffee mug with their iconic owl, straight out of San Diego. So I think my mic should be working and everything, but again, you guys need to let me know. Let me know if you are here in the chat. Let me know if the audio is okay, and we'll press on. So the question of the day today for this live stream is, where is Daniel Ricciardo going to go for 2023? So if you have thoughts, please leave them in the chat. We'll get to them. But that is our main question of the day that we are going to discuss. So leave your predictions, leave your questions, and if you are here, first of all, thank you. If you're watching live, if you're watching later, I know that you could be anywhere doing anything right now. So I appreciate you taking the time to tune in and watch this. It means a ton. So it's funny. I'm new to all this. Obviously, I'm going to probably say it a lot. But for the first time ever, I get to say, if you are here, go ahead and take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can see and get notifications for any upcoming live streams that I do. So, real quick out of the gate, just to give you a little context for who I am and what I'm doing. So, my name is Seth. I live with my wife and our 4 beautiful little kids in Nashville, Tennessee. And right now is a very rare quiet moment in our home. This is exactly why I'm doing it right now. 8:40 in the morning. I know probably isn't the most ideal time, seeing as though the people on the West Coast and the States aren't even awake yet. But hopefully they can watch it later on, and maybe one day I'll do them later on in the day. But right now, I've got to take advantage of this quiet window because my wife, we homeschool our kids, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays they go to a school. It's a homeschool tutorial. So my wife just left, took them to school, and I'm a full-time graphic and web designer. I work for a company, and I start working a little bit. So this also works well to slot this in before work. So yeah, we live in Nashville. I have been a diehard Formula One fan since 2009. So I grew up in a home where my dad and his 2 brothers, my uncles, they've been F1 fans my whole life. And But growing up, I was way more into baseball and football and basketball, and F1, it just never caught on with me. Until, and I don't know why, I'm not sure what switched, but in 2009, I caught the bug. So another thing, I apologize, I'm going to start looking at the camera. Again, I'm telling you, I'm new to all this, so I've been looking at the screen. Hey, this is live, this is raw, this is this is live stream 101. And also, I obviously, as you can see, don't have an amazing camera. I'm just using the camera on my MacBook Pro. Got this little lapel mic. Hopefully that's working well. So yeah, 2009, the year that Jenson Button won the title with Braun. That is when I fell in love with the sport. I think the first race I tuned in for and actually watched live was the Monaco Grand Prix, if I remember correctly, in 2009. And ever since, I have just digested anything and everything I can get my hands on, whether it be, GP racing or it used to be F1 racing magazines, books, Grand Prix, just everything I can get my hands on. I love it. I have fallen in love with this sport and have been following it for the past 13 years. And like I said, my wife, my beautiful wife, Kelly, absolutely blew me away with the most epic gift for my 40th birthday last year. And she sent me and three of my buddies to the Austin Grand Prix 2021. And I still have not come down from that high. I cannot believe that happened. It was unbelievable. And like I said, I'll maybe do a live stream as we get closer to that Grand Prix this season and do a chat about that. So, but yeah, so started in 2009, been following for the last 13 years, and cannot wait for the day when hopefully my kids catch the F1 bug too. And I gotta say, I am grateful for Netflix and Drive to Survive because, for most of those 13 years following this sport, I did not have many people outside of my dad and my uncles to talk F1 with. But thankfully, Drive to Survive, I shared it with some friends, and now they're diehard fans, and we chat about F1 all the time. So I am grateful for that series, bringing some of my friends into the sport. And it's special to be able to share that with them. So let's see. I need a sip. Need a sip of some Joe. Okay. So now that you've got a little context, I'm a designer. I'm an F1 fan. And I love, in my free time, I've always loved designing F1 little graphics and so forth. So maybe about a little over a year ago, I had the idea to create a Facebook group where I could kind of start combining those two passions and connect with other F1 fans. So if you're watching, in the description of this video, you can see the different links. We've got Twitter, Instagram, now YouTube, but the main hub for F1 Ocean is our Facebook group. So click the link in the description, and I would love for you to join us. We've got a great group of passionate F1 fans in there, and I love posting. Anyone can post, but personally, every day I like to try to post at least one graphic, where I can combine these two passions for design and Formula One. So it's been a lot of fun, and would love to have you join the group. And let's see. So I think at this point we can go ahead and shift to the main topic of kind of something that's been stealing the news over the past week or two in F1, and that is Daniel Ricciardo. So during this summer break in Formula One, I think a lot of people in F1 were kind of expecting a bit of quiet, and so they could rest and just have a little peace away from the sport. And out of nowhere, Sebastian Vettel announces his retirement, and I think that was briefly before the break. And then Fernando Alonso, out of nowhere, drops a bomb and lets the F1 world know that he is moving away from Alpine and going to Aston Martin to take Sebastian Vettel's spot. As soon as that happened, everyone just assumed that Alpine's reserve driver, who's been in the Alpine program for years now, if I understand correctly, is Oscar Piastri, who has been lighting stuff up in F2 and has kind of been on the radar as the next big thing in Formula One. And so let me go ahead. Let me just go ahead and read for you this right here. This is just Oscar Piastri's Wikipedia. So this has been crazy. So here's a little. Wikipedia can help me with a little summary here. So in June 2022, it was reported that Piastri was set to drive for Williams, who I also love. I'm a big Williams fan, naturally because of my last name. My last name is Williams. So he was set to drive for Williams in 2023 on loan from Alpine, which I think would have been really cool, who were expected to retain Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso. In August, however, Alonso announced that he would leave the team to replace the retiring Sebastian Vettel at Aston Martin. The following day, Alpine announced Piastri would replace Alonso in 2023, although the press release contained no quotes from Piastri himself. I remember this live, and everybody was thinking it seemed a little shady because they posted it at a time that was, I think, in the middle of the night in Australia. And everybody was kind of on alert, like, there's no word from Piastri, so is this legit? It was strange. Shortly thereafter, Piastri rejected Alpine's announcement via an epic bomb of a Twitter post stating that he had not signed a contract with the team and that he would not be driving for them in 2023. Alpine team principal Otmar Safnauer followed up by criticizing Piastri's actions and, quote, integrity as a human being, end quote, saying that he expected loyalty from the former academy driver and has threatened to take the contract matters to court. Yikes. Yikes. All right, so yeah, that was crazy, absolutely crazy. Piastri, so Alonso shocks the world. Piastri comes out of left field and just blitzes the F1 world. And I don't know many F2 drivers who would pass on. I mean, that Alpine drive was in the bag. That was his. Absolutely, it was his. So he literally passed up. I mean, I'm sure there are many F2 drivers out there who are thinking, oh my word, you just passed up a confirmed, 100% confirmed F1 drive. So what everyone in F1 is thinking at this point is that, and from what it sounds from reports, is that McLaren have made it known to Daniel Ricciardo that they would like to bring in Oscar Piastri to drive alongside Lando Norris. And so now everyone's wondering what is going to happen. Is that actually going to happen? For Piastri's sake, man, I hope it does, because if that fell through and he passed up the Alpine drive, that's going to be a mess. So let's just assume that sometime in the near future here, McLaren's going to announce Piastri to be taking Ricciardo's seat at McLaren. So then that leaves the question of where is Daniel Ricciardo going to race next season? Is he going to race? So he's made some good money in F1. I will go ahead and say Daniel Ricciardo is by far my favorite driver in F1. I love the guy. Not only is he wicked fast, he's proven that at Red Bull. He's proven that at Renault. He even won a race with McLaren. I just love the guy. I love not only that his skill and what he can do on track, but I think even more so, I love the guy's personality. I love the way he carries himself. I think he is a breath of fresh air in Formula One. He's always positive. I mean, you see the honey badger come out every now and then, but he just carries himself so well. The smiles, the not taking himself too seriously, yet just being lethal on the track. I love it, and I think especially with Drive to Survive, people all across the world, but especially here in America, I think they've really grown attached to Danny Rick and have fallen in love with this guy because what can't you like about this guy? He is like the most likable dude in F1, and I think we need him. No matter where he is. Honestly, I don't care where he goes as long as he stays in F1. I just can't imagine F1 right now without Daniel Ricciardo. He's so good. Any team, I mean, you think about the marketing that, the way he would boost marketing for any team, regardless of who the team is. Why would you not want Daniel Ricciardo? Especially if you're a team towards the back a little bit, whether it's a Haas or a Williams, who knows? But I've got to imagine if I was the team principal of one of those teams and I thought I could maybe get a couple years out of Ricciardo, I would jump on that. I mean, I'm sure, from what I've heard, he is contracted with McLaren through next year. So from what I know, it is in Ricciardo's hands. So looks like McLaren's going to have a hefty buyout of him to get Piastri in that seat. So, looks like Ricciardo could have another really good payday while also hopefully moving to another team. So I think the obvious shift, from what I've heard, there are 4 teams that have shown some interest in Ricciardo due to based on reports. And that's Alpine, Williams, Haas, and Alfa Romeo. Okay, so Alfa Romeo, I think I have a hunch that the Zhou Guanyu and Bottas pairing is going to hold firm. I think Zhou's done well enough this season to afford another contract. So I think my guess is that's going to stay put. Williams, I would love that because that would pair my favorite team and my favorite driver. So I would love that. However, I don't think that's going to give Ricciardo the best car for performance on track. Okay, so Haas, their car actually has made quite an improvement this season. So let's say Magnussen sticks around. We're not really sure where Schumacher is going to go, if he's going to stay in the sport. My guess is that Haas will keep Magnussen, maybe Schumacher, but let's say Schumacher goes elsewhere. I feel like there's a strong chance of that. So let's say Schumacher goes elsewhere, Ricciardo gets that seat. Wouldn't be awful. It's definitely a step back from McLaren, but the car is showing to be pretty quick compared to last year. So could be worse, I guess. Nothing too glitzy about Haas, but hey, they're a team in the States, and people in America love Daniel Ricciardo, so that could be a cool pairing. Finally, Alpine. Okay, let's talk about Alpine here. I believe Alpine gives Ricciardo easily the best car based on current performance. In many races, they've even shown themselves to be quicker than the current McLaren. So I think if Alpine paired Ricciardo with Ocon, I think they would have a really strong pairing there. So let's go ahead and let's check out. Okay, so this right here, I want to take a look at this. This is the 2020 driver standings from so the last time Daniel Ricciardo drove an Alpine, basically, formerly Renault, was 2020, basically 2 years ago. Not even a full 2 years ago, okay? So that's not long ago. And look at where Daniel Ricciardo, I know he's not tearing it up right now, but the last time he was in that Alpine, look at where he finished. It's kind of shocking to think now. 5th place, 6 points behind Sergio Perez in 4th place. This was only 2 years ago. Remember this. Daniel Ricciardo finished the season in 5th place. Look at some of the people behind him. Okay? You've got Carlos Sainz. You've got another Red Bull with Albon. You've got Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. You've got another McLaren with Lando. Pierre Gasly. Sebastian Vettel in the other Ferrari. Daniel Ricciardo can drive the socks off that Alpine. And I would love to see this happen again, okay? So, there's our boy right there. Danny Rick. We got to keep Danny Rick in F1. Look at that smile. How can you not like this dude? So yeah, I think, my hope is that we hear very soon that Alpine take one more go at Daniel Ricciardo and see what can happen. He's mid-30s. I think he's 34, maybe. So probably not a ton of years left, but hey, he's still got it. He just needs to be in the right car. He needs to be in a team that's not going to micromanage him and is just going to let him be Daniel Ricciardo and drive the way he wants to drive. Put that man in your car, let him be who he is, and see what happens. I think it could be special, and I really do hope. Who knows what the the guys and gals on staff at Alpine are thinking, because Danny Rick did choose to leave. He chose to leave voluntarily for McLaren. So who knows? Maybe some people there don't really want to bring him back, but I sure hope they do, because I think it could be special. So where do you think Daniel Ricciardo will end up if he stays in F1? Let's strongly hope that he does. I don't know what I'd do. I'll black out if he leaves F1. Again, if you're watching, I'd greatly appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. Like the video, subscribe to the F1 Ocean channel. We're going to be doing more of these live streams. This is so much fun. I don't even know if anyone's watching right now, but hey, you got to start somewhere, right? And I'm having a blast. So if you are watching now, live or later, thank you so much. I appreciate it a ton. It means so much to me. I do this because I'm passionate about it. I love it. My main full-time job is what I'm about to go do after I sign off here as a graphic and web designer. But I love F1. I love chatting F1 with other people, and so it means a lot if you're here. I appreciate it so much. Let's see. So other than the Daniel Ricciardo news that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on, what's next? Next weekend. Guys, I am missing some F1 right now, I'll tell you what. Next weekend, one of the most magical races in F1. We're going to Belgium. to race at Spa. And that's another topic for another day. I hope Spa stays on the calendar. I really do. I know with more races in America and elsewhere in the world, there has been talk about Spa maybe getting booted from the schedule, and I sure hope that doesn't happen because everyone's got their own views. But me personally, I think Spa is pure magic. I think it's a beautiful track, and it's got so much great history. There's just something about it. Racing through the woods, racing through the forest, the epic turns and just the way that circuit flows is gorgeous. And we were kind of robbed of a race last year with the rain. So I sure hope we have an awesome Belgian Grand Prix at Spa, and I hope it's not the last one. I really do. So, guys, I think that may be it. Last thing I want to mention, because I want to mention someone because he's been a great inspiration to me. So Peter Windsor, I don't know if some of you, if you followed F1 for a while, you probably know Peter Windsor. Look him up. He's got an extensive background, an incredibly impressive background in F1. Been in the sport, been tied to the sport in a number of different ways over, I would say over the last 30 plus years, probably, who knows, I can't remember exactly how many, but just an all-around awesome dude. He worked for, I believe he was team manager at Williams back in the day. Rubbed shoulders with just legends. Senna, Prost, Mansell. Believe he worked for Ferrari for a while. He wrote for F1 Racing for a while and did many other things. Great journalist, reporter. But now what he does that I love is he has started, I guess you could kind of say, his own radio show on Twitch. So he also does YouTube. He's got a great following on YouTube, but he has started doing live streams multiple times a week, very consistently over the past few months on Twitch. And so I would go to Twitch, look him up, Peter Windsor, phenomenal. And he'll talk for hours. He'll do 2, 3, 4 hour long live streams where he just answers people's questions. And I'll tell you what, there's no one that tells a better story than Peter Windsor. That man is full of just beautiful stories from F1. And they're amazing. So I could listen to the guy tell stories all day. So I just wanted to, he's been a huge inspiration to me, and it's actually, we recently connected, and he's just been so kind, and I've actually started to partner with him and do a little bit of design work for his live stream, which has been an absolute honor and privilege and just such a blessing to me, because I look up to Peter a ton, and he's been just a huge inspiration. Honestly, someone who inspired me to even press go live today. So Peter, you've got way more important stuff to do than watch this live stream. But if you ever do watch it, I just wanted to say thank you. You're a huge inspiration, and not only what you do with F1, but just who you are as a person. You're a class act, man. I look up to you a lot, have great respect for you. So, all right, I think that does it. All right, Danny Rick, let's hope we hear soon that he is going to, hopefully Alpine, hopefully. We'll see, but he's got to stay in F1. He has to. It's just not gonna be good. One more sip, since this is a F1 coffee chat. And this has been fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, go ahead and follow F1 Ocean at our different social accounts in the description. Mainly, I would love for you to join our Facebook group. That's that's where the majority of conversation and stuff happens. That would be awesome. Would invite you and would love to have you. So check that out. And I think that's it for now. I got to go to work. So you guys have a great day. Thank you again so much for tuning in. It means so much to me. I really appreciate it. And I'm super excited to do more of these. So I will see you in the next one. See ya.